Hello everyone, it is Christine here and I am back to do some thread painting with you today. Now we're not going to be thread painting a flower as we often do. You know how much I love thread painting flowers. We're going to be thread painting a black Labrador. So there's a bit of a backstory to this, which familiar watchers to this channel will probably know, which is that we have a beautiful black Labrador called Travers, and Travers often features in my little chats while I'm stitching away. I'm talking about what Travers and I and Alex have been up to. Anyway, my dear friend Robyn, who is a Stitchery buddy from across the globe, sent me a lovely surprise package before Christmas, and it contained a panel. Now I'll insert a picture of the unstitched panel here if I can, and it was a panel featuring a beautiful black Labrador just like Travers. And Robyn said to me when sending it to me, I heard you were making little baskets for each swatch person you were adding to the blanket. So that was my Roxy Journal of Stitchery project, where I've been adding, making it really a family history blanket. It's evolved into such an amazing project, and it's a project I'm going to keep working on through this year. I've still got space and I've got lots of ideas of things I want to add into it, and I think it's just going to be a great place to keep adding those special things you find as you go through a box that might have a little treasure from a grandparent or an auntie or something like that. So Robyn had seen me putting together pieces that would be going on each of the swatches or panels for family members, and she says, but I didn't hear Travis's name mentioned. Now perhaps you're keeping that a secret, but I wanted to make him a block. Unfortunately, I'm not sure what to put on it, so I gathered up a few things and am passing them along to you so that you can make a block for Travers. And so she's given me a little mini swatch as well, so the big panel and the swatch, a blue ribbon for his collar, and a little heart that says, "You make it beat faster." And how sweet is it? It's got a little heart rhythm, and that's very significant, as Robyn says, so true in so many ways. It's been a bit of a year for hearts and with Alex's health and other things, so very significant. So thank you so much, Robyn. And she says, if you can't fit it on the blanket, it at least will be a fun project like you need more. But what a thoughtful, incredible gift. And Robyn, I am just so incredibly touched. I was saying it to Alex the other day. It blows my mind that people that we haven't met, we have such close bonds to. And that people are just so kind and caring and lovely. I mean, this stitching community, on this day, the first day of the year, I'm starting the year being grateful. I don't need resolutions because I'm surrounded by beautiful people who are just incredibly supportive. So I really wanted to do something special with this piece, and so I have been thread painting it. And I thought I wanted to get a bit done so that you can actually see the approach I'm taking, but then we're going to work on it today. There's still sections that I haven't done yet. So let me just bring it up so you can have a bit of a look at it. And you can start to see as I move it around in the light just how many little tiny stitches are already there. So I've stitched most of this area. Up here, and then I've done just part of the ears, but got most of the ears to do. I've left this shaded area unstitched because I think I'll just leave these little shaded. I'll probably do still some stitches on the top of the ear. I've stitched around the mouth down there, and I'm thinking I'll leave the neck unstitched just so there's a contrast. And where I'm planning to use it on my blanket, I'm planning to actually put it against the blanket and then have it framed by the lace that's overlaid across the blanket. But we'll come back and probably do that in a separate episode. Today I wanted to focus on thread painting. So I'll just move it around. So yeah, it's just amazing what doing all these tiny little stitches, and you can see how tiny they are on the back. I also put a piece of iron-on interfacing on the back just to give the fabric a bit more substance, and I'm using this nice vintage hoop. It's a very nice one that stays nice and tight but can be tightened with your fingers. So that's the approach, and what I've been using is just regular cotton. So this is an overlocking cotton that I got from Alex's mum, so it's a black. I've then got this grey, which I've been using actually for the lighter colour because it's got a nice sheen to it. It says cotton thread, but I think it's probably got some, well, it says super sheen, so I'm not quite sure how they would have got that shine. I thought it probably has a bit of polyester in it. I think it's very old. It's from when Coles used to, yeah, sell threads, and 78 cents. And made in Australia as well. We don't tend to have much of a textile industry anymore. And then I've been using this one for the medium grey colour, grey black, which again is a made in Australia embassy machine cotton. But I think again, because it's got that sheen to it, it probably is got a bit of polyester. And then I used this one that comes out actually quite nice and light, and I used it just for some of the highlighting up the top of the head, just where I wanted to have it looking like the light is catching it. I'll probably still intersperse a bit more darkness in there. And I'll use this one probably just along the top there. In fact, maybe we'll do that to start because, well, I've got that in my hands. So yeah, 4 colours of thread, but 3 in the main. And the way I worked that out was really just looking at the design, and we can probably see it down here. There's the black, and then there's a medium grey, and then there's a lighter grey. And then, yeah, I just wanted that slight bit of extra dimension, so I added in the 4th colour. But you could do this equally with just 3 colours. But yeah, really encouraging you to think about how you can use regular threads. It gives you a really nice fine effect and really great for doing fur. So hopefully I can inspire some of you to, yeah, do a little stitch portrait of your pet or an animal that you love. And stitching into the panel just makes it a bit easier because you can follow the main sort of shaded areas. So in all these cases I was following, and then it's really just thinking about which way you orientate your threads. So what I'm doing here, where I'm at the top of the ear, is I'm doing my threads in little down strokes because that's the way that the colour seems to be going. But I'll probably leave the rest of the ear just in the sort of the shadow effect. It's probably not quite on that angle. So I've been busy stitching this in the car today. We went for a lovely day trip down to Inverloch by the sea. It was so busy down there. It was amazing. All the people must be staying at the caravan parks and holiday homes down there. Normally we, where we park at the little doggy beach area, sometimes there'll be a couple of other cars, but we were lucky to get a car spot today. But we always take our own little picnic down, and the tide was right out, so there was lots of sand for the dogs to gallop around on. So I took a little bit of footage, so I might try and intersperse that in with this video as well, so you can see the real life Travers in action as well. And I took I think I took a couple of photos, so I'll have to see whether he looks similar in the photos too, because sometimes when they get wet on their fur, which he did because he galloped around in the sea, it gives their fur a different sort of sheen. But he's a naturally very shiny dog, and that's why it's been so good just to introduce these colours. You might think of a black Labrador, well, why wouldn't you just do it all in black? But no, it actually, the dimensions of the snout and everything actually pick up the light differently. So I think all of this helps us really sort of tune in our artistic sort of minds, because we're seeing how light and shadow and different colour work, even in something that's quite, you might think is just one colour. So I'm just doing a little downward strokes, and you don't have to be precise. As I say, I was doing it in the car, so there were plenty of bumps and other things, and yeah, it's just about getting the stitches mostly going in the right direction. There's even some bits where you can cross them, like I did a little bit of cross hatching around the eye, but generally I just try and think, yeah, what direction do they need to go, and in some sections you'll be doing them in one direction, then you want to bring them round like that for the snout, so you're just gradually sort of changing your angle. So I've kept the whole panel but just sort of pinned back the edges with my little quilt clips, because I don't want to cut into the panel until I know exactly how I'm going to position it into the block. But I will probably, but then I'll keep the outer pieces and do something nice with those as well. So that's just some of that lighter grey even, which, yeah, just catches the light nicely along there. And I might even just do one little last little tufty bit coming down here. It's really just, yeah, you can also follow a little bit your own design. If you think something further is needed, just add it in. So I don't think I necessarily need this, unless I'll just pop over here, and I'm just going to finish coming down past the eye, I think, with this one. Oops, just caught myself on the hook. Should actually probably wrap this around it a bit more. See if that stops me catching all the time. So I hope you're having a lovely start to the new year. I think most countries now will be, well, by the time I post this, which will be tonight, our time, late tonight, I'll schedule it to post. We just had a well, not a very quiet, not as quiet as probably it was originally planned to be. Originally we were thinking we'd just relax at home with Travers and have a nice homemade hamburger with salad, but we ended up still having dinner at home. We actually ended up just having sausages, but I made a beautiful rocket and parmesan and pear and balsamic salad to go with them. And then we went round to Alex's parents' house, and there were a few others there, and his mum had made yet another meal. She told us all to have dinner before we came, but then there was a whole other meal. It's the whole Italian thing. I couldn't fit much of it in, but we just enjoyed each other's company, although I think most of us were quite ready for bed. I know Travis was thinking, what on earth are we doing up at that time, because he's used to heading off to bed with Alex. So I'll tie that one off there. So that's probably all I need for that colour. Got to start saving up my threads to use in my little Aut balls, which I'll be putting with my perpetual calendar, so you can see that in another video if you haven't heard about that. So now we'll come down with our medium grey, which is this one here. Make sure I don't lose the little ribbon and the charms. I'm just going to put that up on that area on my workbench. Okay. So yeah, there's still some area down here that needs to be filled in with the medium grey. So I thought we'll do about an hour of thread painting together. If there's still a bit to finish, then I'll finish that. And then in a separate video, I'll come back and show you how it's going to go onto the blanket. So it's a beautiful sunny day here. There was a little bit of wind down the beach, but yeah, quite nice. It's quite warm upstairs. I just had the air conditioner on actually before I started the video, just to cool the room down a bit, because the sun hits this side of the house in the afternoon. So I'm just following down here the sort of the angle of the face coming down, I guess the chops at the side as we call them. Travis has probably got a more sort of, slender face than most Labradors, but I'm finding the shading is helping to sort of, give that shiny sort of, slimmer look. So definitely it will be a year for doing some more thread painting, probably of smaller animals as well, like rabbits and other things. I think that could be a lot of fun. I picked up some fabric in an after Christmas sale. They had 49% off. I think it was the owner of the site's birthday, and so they were 49% off all Christmas fabrics. I got some very cute little ones with little animals, but I don't think all of them look Christmassy, so I'm hoping I can do some little thread painting, just depending what size they are, into those as well. I think there were some little rabbits and things, so I thought they could make a nice little Easter craft, because I'm thinking I'll probably start my Easter crafting pretty soon, because otherwise it will come around too quickly, being the end of March. So I hope you don't mind if I do start my Easter crafting, and hopefully that way, if you want to follow along with any of the ideas, it gives you enough time as well. So if you haven't subscribed and you do want to have a variety of different prompts, I don't do any one singular sort of thing. I try out different things. I just really follow where my passion takes me. So I'm not planning my videos or projects super far in advance. I just follow my intuition. When something like this, a lovely package, arrives in the mail, I will definitely get stuck into it. I also got gifted a beautiful book from one of my other Stitchery swap partners, and I want to make some projects out of that as well. So I've been writing lots of ideas. My perpetual calendar is up on the pinboard here, and I've been jotting down some. I think the ideas column is, it's actually full. I might have to add an extra sort of sheet of calico to write on. So just doing little downward strokes and interspersing it with the lighter colour. So it's that sort of long and short stitching, I guess, but not right up against each other. So you're still allowing the fabric to shine through, but giving the impression of fur. But yeah, I didn't expect it to turn out. Sometimes, when you start, it sort of goes through that initial phase where you're like, not sure how this is going to go. But then it just really started coming together. So that's why I wanted to get enough done that you could get that sense of the effect, but we could still do some of it together. So let me know in the comments what you're working on, whether it's something you're working on for today or something that you're starting on for the new year. Got our Roxy Journal of Stitchery project coming up. We've got Annie Claxton from Arty Farty Annie doing a colour, I probably haven't got the title right, but a colour book, and I'm planning to do a fabric version of it. And then we've got Corinne, Susanna and Tia doing a few projects. I'll see if I can squeeze those ones or some parts of those into the schedule. And then, lots of other ideas that I just want to play around with, and I'm sure the ideas will just keep bubbling. I find things coming to my craft room and I'm like, all right, just go through a box and look at some fabric and I think, I want to do that thing. So just coming down through this area. So this area has the medium grey going into the black, but I'm just really doing the medium grey and interspersing it with where I've got that lighter grey. So I probably won't go much further down than where I've gone here, because I think I'll leave from this area. I'll basically just have this area defined, so I'll just come down around the mouth there. And I've been having a great play with my Inktense blocks, and so I'll have a video coming up with my first little project of creating a design, drawing it with my friction marker, painting it with a variety of different techniques using the Inktense blocks, and then we'll be stitching it. So hopefully, if anyone else is curious about Inktense or has them and is a bit afraid to give them a go, hopefully that will give you a bit of inspiration. so I'll just bring some little stitches down just to finish around here. Because I think this is probably just part of the hedge. Just slightly hard to distinguish where the neck to the mouth is, but I think if I add these little stitches, then they will just look like the fur around the jowls. That's what I was thinking of before, not the chops, the jowls. So did anyone have a white Christmas where you are? In Australia, obviously, yeah, we don't. Although some people had hail in some of the parts of Australia, so they had a semi-white Christmas, but it did a lot of damage, the weather. And flooding, I think, yeah, continues in Queensland. So hopefully everyone is staying safe. But I know some of you over in the US and UK, you might have had a white Christmas. And did you have any exciting adventures on New Year's Eve? As I say, we're usually pretty subdued. Last night was probably as exciting as we get these days because, yeah, I'm not a big one for crowds, so the big gatherings not really my cup of tea. I probably would have quite happily, been at home and sat down and watched a movie with Alex and just stitched away. But no, it was nice to catch up with family. Even if it does leave you feeling a bit weary when you get to bed just that little bit later. I think 12 o'clock's pretty much my limit, but by the time we got home, it was probably 1 o'clock-ish by the time we were heading off to bed. So I'll just put a few more little stitches in here. So here I'm just angling it slightly up that way just to go with the other stitches that are there. And just merging these little stitches up into that lighter grey that's there. Okay, so that's that area done. I'm just sort of feeling for where, and now I can probably just jump over to here and put a few more stitches in. Don't think I've done the black thread here, but I don't think I even need to always do the black. I think sometimes I can layer the other stitches just over the black and let the black just sit in the background. So it really is with this thread painting, you don't have to paint everything and all your stitches don't have to touch. It's just working out, how intense you want to make them, what size you want to make them, what sort of thread. But certainly for fur, I think these little individual cottons, which are very affordable, you can probably find them in your thrift stores or op shops or charity stores. So, I mean, some of the older ones, they might not be as strong, but yeah, these ones are probably a decent age just by looking at the labels, and they haven't been breaking or anything. And so you don't have to buy expensive threads to stitch. So here the eye's coming down and then it's sort of coming around, so I'm just going to fringe my stitches sort of around as we come out. And I'm just stitching into that black area, so I'll just do some interspersed stitches so we still have the black showing through. And I'm going to kind of bring my stitches angling as I go. So it becomes, I think, quite intuitive as you go. There's been the odd spot where I've had to just think, oh, what way would the fur down around the mouth? I sort of thought, oh, that's there, and then it goes out a bit at the side like that. So sometimes you do have to pause, but generally if you follow your intuition and just sort of stitch by that, it goes pretty well. So here I want to leave this area shaded, so I'm just going to do a few stitches as I go up here, not fill in the whole area with this medium grey. So I'm doing these stitches sort of at that angle, and then as we come up here, I'll just angle it a bit more. But you can see based on the shading in the actual fabric, the direction they're meant to go. in this area over here. So yeah, where you've got sort of one colour and another, you just want to intersperse your stitches up in between your other ones so that they meld together. So thank you so very much, Robyn. I hope you are getting the chance to see this video. I'm thinking what I can send you back as a little package. Give you a smile like you gave to us. I'm just going to come up here and just add a few little stitches. Leave this shaded area down here, but just a few little ones. Very nice stitching through this panel, even with the the interfacing on it. It's really easy not having to push the needle at all hard. And having it in the hoop just makes it very effortless, I think. Okay, now we're coming up to the top, so I'm going to intersperse some of the darker, because I think this is, I've done this in the lighter colour, the lighter grey. Just going to intersperse some darker grey up here. And then we can head over to the ear area, I think, because I think I'm pretty happy. I think around there, I think I'm just going to leave those bits in the shadow. Don't feel the need that I necessarily have to put black in there. And likewise the eyes, I really like the way they are in the panel in the painting, so I'll leave those as they are. So yeah, I think this was probably originally like a duck hunting panel, because they tend to show these, the Labradors. I guess that's what they traditionally were, hunting birds. But Travers loves his birds. You'll see the magpies and cockatoos and other things on his walk, and he'll just have a look at them. We say hello to them, and then we continue on our way. He's not a dog that will chase birds at all. He is a friend of nature. Very good with other dogs, actually. Even when they're tiny little dogs, he'll be so gentle. Just let them come and jump on him, and he'll just stand there while they do that. So with the ear, we're going to be following a pattern down sort of like this. So there's a twist with little ones, and so down the bottom I've done the lighter colour in little upstrokes. But I'll probably actually I'll tie this one off because we're getting towards the end, and then we might actually do some more of the light first of all, and then we'll come back and add in the medium. So as you can see, you get a lot of little stitches, saving that thread as well for my Ort balls. And then yeah, we'll use our light. Have you finished eating your festive foodie treats? I think we got through, we finished at the last of our ham today, although we've got another little ham, but it's all packaged up so that can keep till later in the month. Try not to have too many processed meats. Still got some of my baked treats, which we took some last night with us, but yeah, still got some more of those, which is lovely. Beautiful gingerbread. We had some on our picnic today. Little chocolate plum puddings. Still got some Mum's lovely ice cream plum pudding in the freezer. So it's got all the fruits and everything, but in a beautiful creamy ice cream base, which is perfect for Australia, where it's normally hotter weather. Now, what have I done there? Have I pulled the end through, or has it just formed a knot there? Do I just need to... Okay, I think we're going to have to just start that bit again, because we seem to have a weird little knotty thing that has formed. So I'll just pull that thread out and we'll go again. So yeah, the ice cream plum pudding is perfect for the warmer Christmases we usually have. This year it was a rainy Christmas, which was quite rare for us. Usually it's a hot day. So I'm going to come down with the lighter colour, and I'm just going to follow the pattern in the fabric and follow the direction that the ears want to go. Just going to intersperse this through where there seem to be those little specks of the lighter colour. And as you can see, I've already done the black further down the ear. Just doing little stitches. But you can do some that are a bit longer, some that are shorter. It's just that variation. You just don't want any stitch sort of sitting next to another stitch that's exactly the same. But you can stagger them, like I'm staggering this one, so it starts halfway down the previous one. Travis's ears are so beautiful and soft and shiny. They do struggle a bit, Labradors, because their ears are floppy down, so we have to keep his ears nice and clean them daily, and he has some special drops from his vet just to keep them in tip-top condition. They're not made for good air circulation. So you can work across. In this case, I'm just working down the ear. Really just stitch whatever way you want. This thread painting should be relaxing. If it's stressful, then yeah, just see if you can find a way to make it feel more fun and more intuitive for yourself. Because the idea is to have something that's enjoyable to do. So I'm going to jump across here and put these little lighter bits in. So again, I can tell from the design which direction to be stitching in. But if you couldn't, then you'd just sort of think, how does a dog's ear look, and just try and angle your thread that way. But yeah, if you're buying yourself some fabric, look for one that has a couple of like different colour variations on an animal, and then pick out some regular cottons that are in that colourway. And it doesn't have to be exact, because this one's not as light, this cotton's not as light as the design, but because it's got a bit of sheen, it picks up the light. It's definitely one to do in good lighting, because it's hard when you're working with the blacks and the greys to tell which thread is which if you're not if you're in a more poorly lit sort of situation. I'm just working my way up, adding the little stitches in. See how far we can get on the ear in the remaining time. I hadn't actually seen any Labrador fabric myself. I must admit I hadn't gone looking for it because most of my fabric is thrifted, so it's really just what becomes available. But yeah, I am incredibly touched that Robyn noted that Travers was missing so far from my Roxy treasure hunt piece, and yeah, thought to send me something. It's just, yeah, so lovely. Year ahead, if we can all do little random acts of kindness and send that kindness out into the world, it can only help, I think. Annie Claxton from Arty Farty Annie has her live coming up this coming weekend, and I'm going to be doing some little giveaway goodies for folks in Australia and New Zealand, so I've actually got to get onto that. I'm wondering if I do some little bespoke packs or put some packs together ahead of time. I'll have to check what Annie's preference is. Yeah, it'll be nice to share some of my stash, slow stitching stash, so folks can use that. So yeah, if you're in Australia or New Zealand, indeed if you're anywhere else, because Annie's got some other folks that will be doing packages in the UK and US and things like that. So sign up. I think she'll probably pop up a link in advance so you can sign up to be notified. So for those of us in Australia and New Zealand, it is early in the morning on a Sunday, but she does it Saturday night UK time. It's always fun. She has her son Tom there. Do some little tufty stitches near the border of the ear. Sometimes the individual stitches you think they're not going to add much, but it's just the combo of them that gives you that lovely effect. It's really sort of the interspersing of the light and the medium grey down here, so I'll just sort of jump around and add in the stitches. So do you have any New Year's Day traditions that you particularly do? It's funny, I was talking to one of my colleagues on New Year's, just on the last Friday before we broke for New Year's weekend, and she's from Scotland originally, and they have all sorts of traditions of cleaning the house and changing the curtains and cleaning the windows. She has memories of her mum sort of all up until late on New Year's Eve, getting them to change the curtains and things. I usually try and start the new year with clean sheets on the bed and things sort of tidied up. I must admit I've got a little bit of a pile next to me in my craft room, so I probably should get that tidied. Start the year the way we intend to continue. It's so hard with crafting, you sort of end up with particularly if you have a few projects on the go, because I've been playing with the ink tints as well. I've got my supplies for that out as well. So here with the ear, it sort of comes around like that, so I just need to think about that as I angle the stitches. Just put a few of them a bit more on the angle. Yeah, it's just that staggering of stitches. So as I work my way back up, I'm just starting them at a different point to where the one that's sort of adjacent to them starts, and just doing them different lengths. Having a look here about what direction. Yeah, I think they sort of come around like that, so continue that pattern. Oops, I think I've just gone through my back piece. Just need to wrap this up so I'm not catching this one. Okay, where was I? Coming down here, I think. So I might jump over here while we're in this section and just do, so these ones are sort of coming down and round, I guess. I've got another little knotty bit there. There we go. So I like to just create a few that just extend a little bit out from the design, just so they look like the little hairs. Don't want a totally smooth surface at the side. Come down the side first. Going up there. And then I'm going to be working that direction. It's probably a tiny bit too angled, but I'm not going to worry about it. I'll just add another one and we'll get sort of back on. And another one at the right angle. And so as I come down where it's sort of coming down straighter, I'll just start to angle my stitches in that direction. That one was a longer stitch, but again, it doesn't matter. You can just do some little short ones either side. crossing over there. Perfect. Perfectly imperfect. That's what it is. It's not perfect, but it's perfect for what it needs to be. I think that's why slow stitch is so lovely. It's just about letting the thread and the needle and our inspiration guide us. It's not like counting stitches on a slow stitch or something like that, where you have to be precise. Here we let the design sort of guide us and unfold. It's kind of a launching spot, isn't it? And then you take it in your own direction. Going to just intersperse a few lighter ones up in the black area while I'm down here. Just do them as little ones, I think. And there's a patch up here that's actually in the design is a bit lighter as well, so I'll put a few stitches in this. A few up there. And then I'm going to pop over to this area where there's a bit of a light as well and just bring a few stitches down. So hopefully, even if you're not feeling up to stitching today, hopefully you're just having a nice little relax and listening to the thread go. I almost stabbed my finger then, which almost yelped, which wouldn't have been very relaxing for you, would it? That's probably a sign I'm getting too relaxed myself. So I'm back to work tomorrow. I'm working the Christmas New Year period. But I'm looking forward to having a week off after this week. And then I'll be back to work for a week, and then Alex is having his operation to have his defibrillator fitted in his chest. So I'll probably need some, take some time as carer's leave for Alex after that, because I don't think he can actually do much for himself afterwards when he comes home. I imagine I'll probably even need to assist with the whole sort of bathing and things like that, because he'll have the wound in his side. So add a few stitches up here, and then we'll move on to the medium grey. Before we know it, it will be heading towards March, I'm sure, when we head off to the amazing Fleur Woods workshop in Southern Highlands of New South Wales. So that will be lovely. Nice to have something special to look forward to, and then we've got a week in Alpine Victoria in Harrietsville on our return. So we'll pop visit. Sort of quite a long car drive, so it'll be nice to break the journey on the way back. So I will tie that off there. It's funny, you can almost see a dog shape, even though with the sort of crossing of the threads, you can definitely see the ear shape. keep my threads. Okay, and then I need my medium grey. Done pretty well, I think, in the time. We might not get it fully finished, but I think we'll get it done enough that you've got a really good sense of the technique I've used for the thread painting here. There's many different ways to do thread painting. This is just what I am doing, so feel free to experiment. And bring my stitches down. So I'm just working my stitches down here. Oops, got a little loop. So just following the angle of the black stitches down here and just adding the medium grey in between the black stitches. Which just gives a sense of that side of the ear. The eyes are perfect on this one for Travis's eyes. They really match his. I'm just going to sort of morph the stitches here into the sort of common direction. So just going to angle them around a little bit. A bit of fluff on my piece. Where did that come from? Probably from the match, from the felt match. So I'm just having a look here. I think sort of that direction's the way to go. So again, doing some long and some shorter stitches and staggering them. I think of all the threads I'm using, this is the finest one. With vintage threads, you never quite know because they don't always have their labels sort of fully intact. You don't know the weight of all of them, but oops. Just unthreaded my needle, but that's okay. We will rethread and continue on. do this area over here. So I'll add a photo at the end with the finished ear, because I want to keep this just at an hour long. So I'll probably only have a few more moments to keep stitching with you, and then I'll pop a picture of the finished ear at the end of the video. And then, yeah, I'll do a separate video where I show you the integration of this into the treasure hunt blanket. Just get down to here, and then I'll be finishing off just these areas here off camera. Thank you for keeping me company, and I hope I've kept you company today, as you hopefully might be, doing a bit of crafting yourself, or just relaxing. Some self-care, important as well as we head into the new year. So thanks so much for joining me. I will probably at this point be adding in a photo of the finished piece for you to look at, and please do take care. Happy New Year. Thank you again for all your support and encouragement and lovely comments and questions and everything else. Just sending big love out to you, and hoping that your new year is wonderful and creative and joyful and filled with laughter. Thanks everyone. Bye.